This is common sorrel, and it's high in oxalic acid, which is the same stuff that makes rhubarb sour. So it tastes quite lemony. It's really common in this sort of meadow area. This is just a salad leaf. It's very easy to find. The shape of the leaf, these points at the bottom, there's always like a group of leaves together. In spring and autumn and in between it's flowering, so normally when plants flower they get a bit more bitter and tough and the leaves die off, so they're not as nice. So there's a nice patch of yarrow here, and this is another really common plant that you'll find in meadows and lawns everywhere basically. Now it's been flowering but it's gone to seed, a bit like thyme or sage, so I use it a bit like herb like that in savoury dishes. It's traditionally used for making beer. It's also used in herbal medicine for stopping bleeding and healing wounds. So the scientific name is Achillea millefolium, and Achillea comes from the Greek hero Achilles, and he apparently used it on his soldiers. The young leaves, you can use those as salad, or you can just get a bunch of the older leaves and they make nice refreshing tea. And see, it's very finely divided in February, which is why it gets the name millefolium, which means from the 1,000-leaved. This is blackthorn bush. You can see the wood is quite black, and the berries are called sloes, and see there's these small purple berries, and it's incredibly sour. This is sloe gin. These have been soaking for about a year now. Just an open jar, put the berries in and cover it with gin, and so you get that tanniny mouthfeel from it and the sourness of the berries. Traditionally you'd pick them after the first frost. They start appearing around September and will stay on the bush all through to December or January as long as no one picks them. What you can do is put them in the freezer, and then that will make them expand, and that will make it easier to extract the flavour out of. You do have to be careful picking it, because the thorns sometimes can cause nasty infections. The leaf, this is sort of spatula oval shaped, and if you look at the edge of the leaf, it has what we call finely toothed. Here we have some elderberries, and these ones are coming to the end of the season, but London's normally about a month in advance of elsewhere, and sometimes if you compare it to Scotland, it'd be 2 months in advance. They are ripe when they're purple, and when they're green, you can pickle these and salt them, pickle them, and use them a bit like capers. It can make some people a bit sick if they have them raw, so always cook it. And the leaves are poisonous, so don't eat those. These are traditionally used for making elderberry wine, making jams and jellies. One of my favourite things to do with those is to make an infused vinegar. In this area of London there is another plant called dwarf elder, and that is poisonous, you shouldn't eat that one. But it looks quite different, the berries grow more upright and the flowers smell different, and it's a lot smaller. This is just a small bush, but it will develop into a large tree. So here are some rose hips. See the nice rich red colour. During the Second World War, when Britain was not importing many fruits because of the blockade, there was a scientist at Kew who investigated the vitamin C content of the different roses and found it was the wild rose that had the highest content. And you can sort of taste that because it's the most sour. There's a national collecting effort to gather wild rose hips from around the country. The Women's Institute gathered several hundred tons over a few years. But it is a really nice syrup to have in the winter. It's packed full of vitamin C, so it can help protect you against getting colds, and can also help heal wounds and that sort of thing. Just be careful when you're processing it of the seeds inside. It causes itching, so it's like an itching powder. And that's a nuisance down your back, but if you have it down your throat, it can be quite dangerous. So it's just the fruit around the outside that we're interested in.